Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Brian's Briefs for Friday, March the 1st, 2024. Just letting you know that we are still accepting applications for the Cal HAFA program known as Dream for All. If you're interested, contact me by phone or email and let me know. For the third week in a row, I'm able to report to you that mortgage-backed securities are higher than 1 week prior, which means that mortgage rates are a skosh lower than last Friday. Let's hope the trend continues. Last month, the hotter Consumer Price Index inflation report pressured bonds lower and rates higher. The main reason was shelter costs, which makes up 45% of the core index. Specifically, owner's equivalent rent, otherwise known as OER, was the main culprit and makes up about one-third of CPI and one-sixth of PCE, um, personal consumption expenditures. The data for OER is imputed, meaning that they ask a question to those partaking in the survey. If someone were to rent your home today, how much do you think it would rent for monthly unfurnished and without utilities? Even those of us in the industry may have a hard time answering that question accurately, and many have an upside bias. But the last CPI report showed a huge divergence between rent and OER. Normally the two track very closely, but in this report, rent decelerated while OER rose, with a significant 2/10 difference between the two. Bloomberg reported that the Bureau of Labor Statistics emailed a group of super users, and that explained the reason for the difference was a substantial increase in the weightings for single-family owners' equivalent rent versus multifamily. This doesn't make a lot of sense, especially since the inventory on multifamily. This puzzled many analysts and is another reason that some of the data cannot be taken at face value. Because of this change in the weightings, the consumer price index was higher than it should have been. When comparing the CPI data to Truflation, which looks at more data points, many more data points, it could not be more of an opposite story. Truflation is reporting 3% shelter increases over the last year, while CPI is at 6%. Unfortunately, it is unclear if the BLS is going to address or correct the weightings change, and inflation data may remain higher for longer because it makes up such a large portion of the report. That means that the jobs data is going to have to be even more important, and it may take a hotter unemployment rate for the Fed to cut rates. The latest summary of economic projections from the Fed shows that 9 out of the 12 Fed members believe that the unemployment rate will be under 4.2%. So a rise above it could force the Fed to act. And the Congressional Budget Office believes the unemployment rate will rise to 4.4% this year. All eyes will be on the next week's BLS jobs report. And that's short and sweet. That's my report for the week. Be sure to check the Kiplinger letter and the briefing.com weekly data to delve even further into the weeds regarding economic data. Call me if you need me or just to say hello, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.